Many top 50 and above ranked Pokemon Unite players here today. You consider Silent Sheepy at the time of this recording, which is February 7th, 2022. Sheepy currently at rank 14. We got Retsu, Purple's Lucario, level 50, Slashcan, 19. Sandra Cheeks over there on the Orange Squad, rank 20. No tournament or anything, we're just here for an exhibition, and this is going to be the starting buzzer, if you want to call it that, my friends. I am Dr. Kendo, here to happily bring you some Pokemon Unite commentary with pro players and the like. Why not subscribe if this is your thing? Looks like we are going to see the 113. This is very typical, of course. We are kind of looking at, I avoid saying North American meta because certainly the people are not all from North America, right? But what's kind of becoming known as, let's say, maybe English meta, you could even call it, might even have some problems there, but just for a short word, Slashcan actually going to secure an early KO right here, and it's Eldegoss on Eldegoss, am I right? Gossifleur at the moment, but that's going to make a KO streak of 2 already here before even a minute has elapsed on the clock. Trainer LGC, that is the Bulbasaur on Orange, definitely creating some resistance right now for these bottom lane players, but they are still looking to go for this Audino and take that, obviously try to take as much of that farm as you can early on if you are able to from that bottom lane. Good opportunity. And so we do have our junglers. We're not just looking at Cinderace and Dragonite, which is kind of it's been a very common jungle set recently, but no, we can get a look at Charmeleon right now, but Charmander, Charizard, you could obviously say, jungling for purple, and we do have a Gardevoir player currently as Kirlia for orange. Retsu going to be absolutely going for them, going to throw out the E-Speed, doing really good, but Sandra Cheeks obviously keeping Retsu on his toes as well, and that will be the KO right there. Wonderful play as always from Retsu, as we're seeing. Sandra Cheeks also could be in trouble right here. It's something that has turned around. The picture sort of looked like, hey, Retsu actually could fall, even though getting that KO, it was a big thing, but both Retsu and Elo over there for purple are going to keep their lives. Always a desire, right? And so Overlord playing as Slowbro today. Definitely a personal favorite early on in Pokemon Unite. Used to love Slowbro, and so seeing that it's in the meta relevance, we've seen it in tourneys, but we've especially seen it a lot in Season 3 right now. Hopefully brings joy to the Slowbro people's hearts, my friends, but we are going to have Surf into action, and Overlord tanking a lot of these hits. This is exactly what it's for. Wonderful. So if you have that amnesia, definitely you'll be able to absorb a lot of that damage, stay out in front, especially when you're on this bottom lane. You want to make sure that your Bulbasaur, you don't want them to become useless, of course. Make sure they're getting their XP and everything, especially when you're paired with Eldegoss, which is typical for the bottom lane to have your support. They're not going to need as much XP, for example, and so your Venusaur player really should stack up right there. Try to get them a lot of those final hits, and we are seeing both of our Slowbros. They are sticking with the potion, and this is something that maybe initially you think, really, why should anybody be using potion? It's for the obvious, I would say, but it's definitely come into a little bit more prevalence with the Slowbros, and that will be actually Charizard down, Charmeleon at the time, and we're also going to see Ivysaur go down. Those 720Bs on the field definitely bursted down fast, as they often are, especially on a bottom lane where you have 6 or more vying for them, and Overlord just going to be taken down. It really is a numbers game at that point. I mean, when you have that much damage, that much going after you, you may be faced with the inevitable to fall right there. Slashcan luckily able to stay alive here on this bottom lane, as now we do see the first Dreadnought and Rotom major objectives in our stadium here. Pretty much everybody going to make a rotation for the most part. Currently, if you were to look at it as it stands, we have a few orange players that'll be just a slight bit late, but ultimately it may not be a statement that makes a whole lot of sense, but it does if you really analyze it, is that you are never really late unless you are actually late, meaning if the team fights haven't started or anything like that, you still have time. If the objective hasn't been taken down, you can still make a play, anything like that. That's what we mean by that statement. But notice, of course, Orange did lose one of theirs. It's going to be Eldegoss out of there, and there is going to be an effort play right there with the Solar Beam, just not quite going to cut it, of course, from the grass for Orange, because Purple Squad will get that first Dreadnought. So keeping the experience, keeping the level somewhat ahead, but we are mostly just average levels of each squad, still relatively evened up. That was wonderful, though, from Elo pulling off the Seismic Slam, because then, of course, Slam aside, you are just going to be airborne. You are going to be able to deal a whole lot of damage right there, and especially in these team fights, especially around those objectives. I don't know about Rhino right there. Using that Fairy Singularity from Gardevoir, maybe a chance to escape just with the increased movement speed and otherwise, but the Fairy Singularity, unfortunately, you do have to have wonderful accuracy with that, and usually Gardevoir's set, much more important if you are running the Psychic and Future Sight. Your aim, you are really going to want to be able to master that. Noticing Silent Sheepy applying some pressure right here to Sandra Cheeks. That Greedent will actually confirm that KO, the Petal Dance. Just a wonderful chance to take out a beefy character like Greedent, and so good on you, Silent Sheepy, level 9 right here. Notice Retsu and Charizard, Elo, they are going to be level 10, and Retsu right now uncontested for this Rotom Rotom will bring it down to half HP. Definitely able to burst this out solo, it looks like, and I would say we can 98% with certainty and now 100% say that Rotom is going to go to purple. So that's going to be both of the first objectives right now for Purple Squad, although they do trail in score just by a small amount, especially for this timing. Although we have now passed that middle game with less than 5 minutes on the clock, we will be transitioning into our late game here somewhat soon. Sandra Cheeks and Rhino will put up the resistance to the Rotom, so it is going to fall before it can touch that top goal. Probably for the best, of course, but you can never discount the pressure or just the distraction that would cause, of course, for pressure put on for purple, but distraction for orange. And so we have mere seconds now until the second Dread will come onto the map. You notice Elo actually tanking that solar beam hit right there. It would be really hard without an eject button, without maybe something like Cinderace or Greninja, those characters that can have really fast acting and really fast animation type moves that would allow you to dodge that. Solar beam going to be a little bit less so. It's not like Draco Impact or something. Notice, of course, we're going to go for the bees here first, which is probably the right move instead of the Dread, but that will start the team fight. Massive. And Homage, the Slowbro for orange, not only going to go down, that was a double KO right there from Retsu. Wonderful with the Aura Cannon, bringing down 2 of Orange Squad's members. Overlord Elo putting on the pressure right here on Venusaur, who will kind of head more towards the objective. That is sort of that last-ditch effort and will not get that Seismic Slam down. Once again, you see the timing on this with Elo, who has been playing Charizard very well. You can see it in this match today. Unfortunately, might actually lose his life right here, just as we're talking about it. Staying in, though, with that last little sliver, and then finally going to be brought down. You have to weigh the costs, the pros and cons, benefits there for that one, but it looks like now Slashcan, the sole remaining Purple Squad member, will probably go down right here. Yes, we can now say with certainty that was basically a team wipe right there for Purple. Luckily, they do have Overlord, able to respawn back, but that will not be enough time to catch this last bottom goal, which we are going to see Sandra Cheeks is going to break. You do want your 50s. If they do have those 50 points, you do want them to break that. If you only have 10, maybe less, anything less like that, break it with that 50, because why not? Highest point values on your team, of course. Looks like Purple, they are still trailing, but once again, it's just by a small margin, and so this is obviously not at all outside of a comeback, and that's what we could be looking at, and obviously you are hoping for that if you are, let's say, a Purple Squad fan, or if you are these Purple Squad members themselves, Overlord, Retsu, maybe Silent Sheepy gonna start hitting this Rotom just a little bit. You do have Orange sort of swarming around like hornets, though, and that's why Purple Squad, we can see a lot of their members, they have some hitting the Rotom, they might hit the Rotom and then come off of it and actually try to stop Orange. Notice there is one Orange member astray right now to actually hit that bottom lane, so we are going to see after a hotly contested battle, Rotom will go to Purple. Once again, they've been doing really well with the objectives, but Orange Squad has been keeping in this, and they have led the score essentially this entire game for the most part, and we are now just about to enter that final stretch. Notice those solar beams still flying. We have 2 largely different Venusaur plays, even if there is a Venusaur on each of these squads today. That will be the final stretch, and we will see what a goal just kind of at the last few seconds. Slashcan gonna go ahead and score in, and all points are doubled. They were waiting for that final stretch, so that was the key about waiting for the Rotom that long. You might think like, wait, why don't they just burst this down right away? Well, when you wait for that 2-minute mark, all point values doubled, and it's very nice. So it looks like Purple actually gonna start this Zapdos, and it's somewhat early after appearing. There will absolutely be a contest, though. Notice Orange trying to swarm around, get the advantage however they can, actually pull out Charizard right there, so taking out Elo, very nice for this if you want to look at Orange's chances. But notice, of course, Purple, they have started to lead in the score, and this is where the Unite moves fly, because there's the Berry Belly Flop, we have a Slow Beam, we have a lot of those Unite moves happening right now, and that is the time to do it. Purple possibly disadvantaged here. I mean, they have managed to take out one of Orange, but just as we are talking, another one of Orange Squad members are out of there, and another one of Purple's is back in like catching in dodgeball, and another out of there for Orange, so that will be their main tank. They do have a Greedent, but their Slowbro is now out of the picture. Elo back in means that you definitely, a co-commentator friend of mine, Kanaji, has mentioned Charizard a lot more fluid now that it can move while doing all of its abilities, and so you definitely have a character that can cover a lot of ground, a lot of damage over time in these team fights, and keep on moving. We're getting down to the wire. I mean, this is actually somewhat of an extensive Zapdos fight right now. Attempt at Solar Beam, Elo is going to be able to avoid that, but run straight into the Greedent. Sandra Cheeks, who is going to go with the Covet, be unstoppable, and there is a Seismic Slam. What? Charizard will bring down Nebula right now, and also deal significant damage to the rest of them, and look at this. So that was the opening that Purple was probably looking for, as Sandra Cheeks with a full 50 will actually be scoring potentially on that bottom lane. I don't know if Slowbro can stop this in time. Let's see if Overlord will. That is going to be a no, but simultaneously we have Elo, the Charizard Charizard and Venusaur. Gonna get in those 50, which will be 100 right now from Venusaur, but also you saw the 90 points when doubled from Charizard. I think that is gonna call it, ladies and gentlemen, just as left side team. That is purple. We'll get that Zapdos at the end here. And so when you give it that score breakdown, I think viewers at home, I think myself, we all know who's gonna win that. Yes, purple squad will be the winners. Congratulations and GG. Zapdos really not needed at that point, but there definitely was an intense battle for it. So viewers at home can see that it was definitely a close match for the majority of the game, and Orange actually leading throughout the latter half of the early game and then on through mid-game as well. Get a look at the damage dealt, among other things, but check out ELO right there. Click an end screen for another one, and thanks for viewing.